Hello everybody, Siraz here, and once again I'm going to be bringing you one more Huck replay. There was one that I forgot to do, so this is the final replay, and it is a PvP once again. It is going to be on Sakura's, or Shakira's plateau. I don't know why I always think it's Sakura's, but it's Shakira's plateau, and is a PvP. Once again we have Huck spawning down here as the red Protoss, and up here we have Korean named opponent spawning as the blue Protoss. As always, if somebody could translate this name, that would be awesome. I don't speak Korean or read Korean or write Korean for that matter, so I always like to know what these names are, and yeah, it always helps me out if someone could tell me who this is. But this is going to be an interesting match. Cross positions on one of the largest maps in the map pool, probably is the largest map in the map pool. Probably going to lead to a pretty long game. We might actually get to see some excellent late game Protoss versus Protoss, which you don't see all that often. A lot of times Protoss versus Protoss is decided relatively quickly in the matchup due to the power of some of these Blink Stalker builds or DT builds, or well, basically, it's kind of a coin flip, which, like, certain builds beat other builds in the PvP matchup, and it's kind of a coin flip to see who wins. So a lot of it is just build order dependent on who wins. And hopefully this game will actually lead to a little bit of a longer game, because late game PvP is actually really interesting, as you can see just a variety of units used. One thing I'm actually kind of excited about is in the upcoming patch, which I'm sure everybody's heard about, they're changing Void Rays slightly to do bonus damage to Massive instead of Armored. So I think they get like a damage buff and against Massive, so we might see Void Rays being used to counter units such as the Colossus, or units such as the Colossus, and so we might actually see a kind of a shift in the PvP matchup, especially later game. I mean, you already do see some different sort of builds in the late game, like Blink Stalker, very strong. If you use Blink Stalkers correctly, you can beat out a Colossus-centric army. And you also sometimes do see Phoenix being used to kill Colossus. But you used to see some Void Ray usage, but after they gave them a little bit of a nerf, they are less effective against Stalkers than they used to be. They used to just absolutely melt Stalkers when they were charged up. But now, or after this patch, we might see a lot more Void Ray usage in this matchup once again, I think. But anyways, I digress. Back to the matchup. 3-gate from Huck, so probably just a 3-gate expand. Very safe build. Coming up from the blue Protoss player, has not put up 2 more gates. I don't know what he's going to do here. Probably going to scout a little bit with this Stalker, and then decide whether he wants to throw up 2 more gates. Oh no, just kidding. What he's actually going for is a Twilight Council, so we might see either Blink Stalker play, or Dark Templar in this case. I think either very viable opening, and we'll have to see how Huck deals with it. Huck, in the meantime, going for a Twilight Council of his own, and this build of the blue Protoss player leads me to believe that we're actually going to see DT, as a lot of times you don't see this Twilight Council going up before. Oh, just kidding, we do have Blink on the way. Herkadirk. Alright, so kind of odd, choosing to go only a single gate until he gets that Twilight Council and then going Blink. I guess it gives you a much quicker Blink, and it probably can give you an opportunity to take advantage of that Blink against other Protoss players who go for a more gateway centric build, or heavy build earlier, and choosing to get Blink a little bit later. So Blink is on the way for both players now, and we'll have to see whose Blink micro is better at this point. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to if it's Blink on Blink action. Looks like Huck getting ready to expand. Oh, maybe he is going to push out. Kind of ballsy here. Sentry's pretty slow. he did see that Stalker being shown by the blue Protoss player. And if Huck is forced to retreat, these sentries will go down as they are a lot slower than Stalkers. But here we go, going to see a small little battle here. Looks like Huck has a slight advantage, but we do have some nice blink control by the blue Protoss player. Huck does not have blink yet, so I think he wants to get out of there, just buys a little bit of time till blink is up, and then we might see a battle occur between these two players. Huck, great, very large number of Stalkers. Looks like he has a little bit of a macro advantage here, blinking in to the Protoss player, but the other Protoss player just blinking away. Looks like that exchange was relatively equal. Oh, another blink by Huck, picking off some more Stalkers. Very nice. I think Huck is definitely up after that engagement. Even going to kill another Stalker and a probe. Great blinks there by Huck, picking off some units. Checking out the unit loss tab. Huck definitely ahead. Well, he's behind in the unit lost count, but he's ahead in the game. I think that's kind of a funny... I mean, it's funny to think of it that way, but I guess it's kind of true. So Huck once again going to move out. Not taking these watchtowers. There we go. Just checking them for probes, for whatever. And we'll have to see what he does. Huck's economy looking a little bit better here. 29 workers to 24. Let's go back to the production tab. We do have a Dark Shrine coming out for the blue Protoss player, as well as a Warp Ray, or Warp Prism. Forgive me for that. But yeah, so we're probably going to see some DTs being warped into the back of Huck's base. But Huck is going to attack right now. Going to be hard for the blue Protoss player to hold this off. Will he be able to do it? Trying his best to pick off units, sending some Zealots to their doom there. Zealots, great tanks. Don't do too much damage, though, if they can't reach the Stalkers. But Huck just going to retreat back to his pylon here. And how close are these DTs? DTs very close to being done. Huck has some cannons, so these DTs, if coming through the front, wouldn't do too much damage, but they do have this warp prism here. Oh, and this is not the right place to warp them in. You are not going to do all that, or be all that successful with the two cannons here. Well, actually, will he be able to sneak by? No, he is not. Great force fields by Huck. Block that DT. But the warp prism probably will be able to just come around here and warp them in. And that's going to be a lot harder for Huck to deal with. He does not have any detection at this point. And Huck is going to be scrambling here. This DT attack is going to really help out the blue Protoss player here. Going to kill a ton of workers. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, gonna go for the pylon. A little bit of a... needs to control his units there. Huck has no detection. And, whoa! Excellent! So Huck just delaying this DT with force fields. Great play. However, another DT is there. Oh, and the cannons, getting too close to the cannons. But this DT is loose to wreak havoc once again. Catching that warp prism, destroying it. So no more DTs, but now we just have to, or Huck just has to figure out some way to deal with this DT. He's getting that Robo Bay up, actually canceling over here, putting it closer to his cannons, which is a very smart choice, so the DTs can't take it out. But this is stopping all mining from Huck, and this has got to be very frustrating. Looking at the income tab, yeah, we are at 0 income. Looks like he's getting a little bit by long distance mining. Kind of a mistake there, losing more workers and actually kind of trapping this DT with Stalkers. Oh, once again, once again, letting the DT out. Oh, there we go. Finally going hold position. Oh, not quite. I thought he was going to do a hold position and try his best to trap the DT. I mean, he's trying to do something here, but it's not really slowing it down too much, just making it attack some Stalkers. But no Stalkers really fallen yet, so this works pretty well. And finally, the Observer's out. Huck kills the DT, and now, after taking a lot of economic damage and getting really behind, he can try and recover and turn this game around. Looking at the income tab, 17 workers to 26. Blue Protoss player, quite a bit ahead. Also, the blue Protoss player securing an expansion as well, so looking very, very solid for the blue Protoss player. Huck going to try and do a counterattack. I think once he sees this force, though, he's not going to stay. all that long. Oh wow, looks like he's actually just going to go for it. Might see some great blink control here by Huck. That can really change these battles around, especially if the other Protoss player... Oh, and blinking into the main. Huck going to counterattack into the main of the blue Protoss player here. And we'll have to see. I thought for sure he was going to go to do some economic damage, but nope. Just doing some damage to this gateway here, and then getting some scouting information. So, oh, great control. Now attacking the natural, just using those forces to lure the rest of the Protoss forces away, and then just blinking away to relative safety, losing one Stalker, but in the process killing a lot of workers. However, Huck is going to lose some units trying to run away, and definitely Huck has lost way more at this point. Going to be hard for him to defend. However, he can put up some nice force fields here. Looking at the income tab, however, relatively equal once again. So that nice blink control definitely evening out this game. And at this point, it could be either player's game. I think this army should be enough to defend against the army of the blue Protoss player here. Nice force fields, trapping some units, forcing the Protoss player to just kind of blink away. And even putting up some cannons, so Huck feeling a little worried at this point in time. I mean, he needs to, well, he needs to just defend this base, continue to macro up, and he should be in a decent position. And yeah, the other Protoss player just going to retreat. And we'll have to see where both the players go from here. We do have a road bay up for both players, so we might see that Colossus transition, but Blink Stalkers, if controlled correctly, can beat Colossus, so it can be a little dangerous to go that route. And I needed a drink of water there. But yeah, it can be a little bit dangerous to go that route, just due to the fact that, like I said, Blink Stalkers, well, if the other Protoss player screws up his Colossus control, Blink Stalkers can be very effective. But Huck going to go for Colossus anyways. We'll have to see what his plan is for defending against these Blink Stalkers here, as it can be very hard to do. They'll just blink up next to Colossus, snipe it down, and it really does not do too much damage. Looks like both players going for Colossus now. Still no third. I think both players feeling a little on edge here. They don't want to take that third. Don't feel like they could defend it at this point. That's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting that it's so hard to really defend your third. I think a lot of players, Terran and Protoss players, want to take their third, but just haven't really figured out how to the timing to effectively defend it. And it's a really very razor edge timing for both the races. So that's why I think you see a lot of two-base play from both Protoss and Terran. Because, I mean, really, if you think about it, if one of the players expanded now, and the other player just had a few more Stalkers in an even battle or whatever, the player with a few more Stalkers would win and take out that expansion. Looking at the income tab, blue is quite a bit ahead. Well, in the worker count at least, 50 to 42. 8 workers will make a big difference, and you can see it in the collection rate. Unit loss tab, Huck's a little bit behind as well. Oop, just kidding. Huck is actually ahead, having some better control here. And Huck is up in upgrades as well, so that's really going to help Huck. Almost at level 2. No upgrades yet for the other Protoss player. I think this is going to be a deciding factor in any upcoming battle. Interestingly enough, a pylon getting placed here for blue. However, Huck scouts it right away, so very nice. Huck just continuing to use that observer to its fullest potential here, and now Huck is just going to move over here and kill that pylon. Free 100 minerals, excellent. Protoss player going to move out though. Possibly, just kidding. I was thinking possibly he would try and intercept this army, but I think he realizes he's too far away. Huck really needs to get back here. I think he sees this coming. Oh, nope. That wasn't him who controlled the watchtower. That was the other player. I think he does see that, he did see that probe though at the watchtower. And, oh no! The poor observer. Oh wow, okay, so the observer is actually going to get away because observers are slow and can't keep up with the rest of the army. So third being taken by the other Protoss player. We'll have to see what Huck does about it, if he just takes a third as himself, or if he tries to attack it. Like I said, this is, you have two options in this situation. You can't let yourself get out macroed, so you either have to take a third of your own or attack it. And Huck actually getting observer speed here. Wow, look how fast this guy treks now. Quite a bit faster than before. Gotta love that. I've been seeing a lot of Protoss players get this observer speed, and really it's been working out well for them. I mean, just it's not that expensive of an upgrade. I think it's 100, and it really makes your observers so much more efficient. I mean, you can just continue to run this around and find out a lot more information with a single observer that's a lot faster like that. You can even do stuff like running through your opponent's base and not worrying about, you know, your observer getting seen or anything. So I really like Huck's observer control. I mean, he just continuously moves it around the map, tries to find anything he can about his opponent and takes advantage of it. Like even just small things like killing that probe there. He'll probably try and kill this probe, and just every little bit helps Huck. And that's why I really like, I mean, this observer control. He just continuously moves around the map. Just absolutely excellent play here. Huck also continued to get upgrades. He is now almost 2-1. Other Protoss player, no upgrades yet, and that's going to be a huge disadvantage in the upcoming fight. I think that's going to be the kicker in any fight here that we see between these two players. I mean, it's really, Huck just has such a huge upgrades advantage. His units are going to be so much more effective. It's going to be just incredibly hard for the other Protoss player to compete. But Huck getting out of position with his Colossus. Looks like one does get sniped. But now we see a blink of Huck, or a blink of Huck blinking in, but not getting close enough to kill the Colossus of the other player. And Huck's army actually getting destroyed very quickly. Really surprised here. Upgrades not as effective as they could have been. Huck's Colossus count going down very quickly here, and this is actually not good for Huck, finally killing the rest of the ground forces. So now we just have a lot of Colossus by both players, and looks like Blue is being forced to retreat at this point. Does not have any ground forces to tank, so needs to get some reinforcements here. Now he's going to see, let's see here. Oh, okay, so this watchtower cannot see that expansion. I thought it could, but looks like that's not the case. Looking at the unit counting tab, Huck down quite a bit in the Colossus count. 4 Colossus to 9, and that's really going to hurt him. Even though he does have these upgrades, he needs to keep his Colossus count higher, well, close to the other opponents. Looks like the other opponent, or the blue guy, is actually the blue guy, the blue man. The blue guy is actually going to Robo, and I think that's really helping him. Huck, though, getting up another Robo as well. So we do have 2 Robo-producing Colossus at this point. Looking at the army counting tab, Huck quite a bit behind. It's going to come down. I mean, his macro has been slipping a little bit. He is down in the worker count. I mean, he is up in the... I think really what's keeping him in the game at this point is just his upgrades. The other Protoss player, still no upgrades. Really hurts. Huck going for some DTs as well. Wants to return the favor from earlier, and that could really help him out. However, if these Colossus check for this third expansion, they could really do a lot of damage. I just don't think the other Protoss player... Oh, he does see it! He did see that being warped in, so if he takes advantage of the terrain, he could really kill off that expansion very quickly. So I'll have to see if he does do that. Looks like that might be where he's going. Nope, just kind of continuing to move his army around. It'd be very hard for Huck to defend these 3 bases, especially considering that you can like bring your Colossus up over here, just walk over the cliff, smash some, well I guess burn some probes to a crisp, and then just walk away, back away from the cliff. Though the interesting thing is, in PvP, a lot of the players like to go Stalker Colossus, and that army not too constricted by terrain. Finally, the blue player getting some upgrades. And yes, he is going to do that. Going to force this expansion to stop mining. Huck, though, quick reflexes. Actually pulling most of his workers, so not losing too much. And then bringing his force over to defend. So we'll have to see if Huck actually can defend this. Going to be very hard. Zealots cannot continue to chase these Colossus, but Huck's Colossus actually doing quite well. Looking at the unit counting tab, 9 to 13. So Huck's starting to get back in the game with equal Colossus numbers. In the meantime, we got some Dark Templar in this base, doing a little bit of damage, and if nothing else, forcing the blue Protoss player to retreat. Very nice use, and even picking off another Colossus there, excellent. Poor guy was rallied over in that direction. And looking at the income tab, equal after that DT attack, so definitely worked in Huck's favor. Still has a pretty large army to deal with, and looks like the Protoss player once again is going to try and harass its expansion, but Huck's army is already there and going to stop this harassment from happening. Really, at this point, it's just kind of a Colossus war. Neither player can bring their forces, their full force to bear. So whoever, well, it's going to be a Colossus war. Huck almost at level 3 upgrade, though. That's going to definitely help. And here we go. Looks like we're going to see a big battle. Huck's ground forces not in the front to tank, though. Actually, nice blink there, picking off a couple Colossus, but forcing the retreat. And now it's going to be a Colossus on Colossus battle. Whose Colossus are going to win? Huck has the upgrade advantage. The other player has numbers. And this is going to be close. Looks like blue is up just slightly in the Colossus count. But Huck is reinforcing, or can reinforce a little bit quicker. And, interesting. So, relatively equal at this point. One more Colossus for blue. Both players have some Zealots out in front. Looks like one more Zealot as well. But now we do see... Okay, so blue's going to continue to retreat. Looks like he had a slight advantage, but all of his Zealots are dead. And Huck looking very strong here. Do we have any more DT action? No, I've not seen any more DTs. And Huck really looking strong. I'm liking this. Just the power of upgrades, man. The power of upgrades. So Huck's forces could be a little bit out of position here, though. This is a very large force by blue coming out. But yeah, blue just going to retreat. Starting to get 2-2. Needs to get himself, back in the upgrade game. Huck, in the meantime, not getting any more upgrades. Would like to see level 2 armor. Needs to retain his upgrade lead. Otherwise, if this Protoss player does get 3-3, he's going to be... I mean, after this armor upgrade, I think he's going to be doing a lot better against Huck's army, as he will be 2-2, or Huck is 3-1. Attack is probably a stronger upgrade, but definitely the armor will help. Both players doing a great job of spending their money. And this is excellent. Both players very low. Zealots going to try and do a flank attack here. I think they're just going to run into Colossus and going to be sadly disappointed. Watch how fast these guys melt. Oh no, run away! But I think the Blink Stalkers should be able to clean them up. And they kind of have to turn around this corner. So Huck should be able to just fry them with some Colossus. Oh, looks like actually a couple are going to get away. Doing some long distance mining here. Needs to get up another base. Probably the best one to take at this point would be this base for the blue Protoss player. I mean, he has one mining base. Huck in about the same situation. So really these players both need to secure a fourth very soon. Otherwise they're going to be very limited in their resource collection. Huck going to move out though. Looking at the army size, Huck had a pretty, 20 army lead. 20 food count lead, roughly. Other player just getting a nice warp in there, so evening it out. And this is going to be a big battle. Who is going to win? Will the extra armor or the extra weapon upgrade be more effective? Looks like Huck has a much better conclave here, just decimating the blue Protoss forces. Wow, so great positioning there by Huck, just allowing him to demolish the forces of this blue Protoss player. And there is the GG. I hope you guys did enjoy that game. I think that's the last Huck game for reals this time, guys. And yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy watching Huck for about a week here. And like I said, if you have any other suggestions for games you'd like me to cast, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I'll just do my best to find some interesting games for you guys, and I'll continue to cast them. So, hope you guys did enjoy it, and with that, I'll see you later.